Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of the Chicago 16-inch Softball Hall of Fame here in downtown Forest Park. And today we have another special guest. Today we are going to be honored here at the Hall of Fame by Joe Pulido, who was recipient on October 26th of the Richard J. Daley Award. I want to, before I bring Joe in and we talk about some stories and the career and everything else, I want to thank the board here at Forest Park for letting us set aside the time, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Paul Rowan, our president, and of course, we are here with a live audience today of a lot of Hall of Famers here in the audience, and he puts the time aside with the board to make this available. Joe, to my right here on the camera, Joe Pulido. Welcome in and congratulations again on that 26th.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So the rumor is this, and I'll start it this way today. The rumor is this, that basically you have nothing to do and you hate this game. And no, Joe, again, how does it start for you with this game? Just let's go back now in time. And
I grew up in Pilsen neighborhood, and we had 2 parks there. One of them was Harrison Park, the other one was the Vork Park.
Okay.
The Vork Park was a small park. Harrison Park was a little bigger. They had diamonds for softball. They had diamonds for hardball.
Got it.
You know. So we used to play, in them days, we had tavern leagues.
From the bars?
From the bars,
Okay.
and in them days, there was a tavern in every corner. So every Sunday, we play our games either at Harrison Park, Vork Park, McKinley Park, wherever it took us, Union Park, wherever. And obviously the loser, we always went to their bar and we ate and we drank in them days.
Got it.
And in our neighborhood, I never knew, I grew up with him, but we really weren't that good of a friend. He was a couple years older, was Al Check.
Okay.
Now, Al Check was a hell of a basketball player. He was a hell of a softball player. Later on, and he went to the University of Detroit. He played with Dave DeBusschere.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the former White Sox and New York Knicks. Yes.
And then later on, he went on and played for the Bobcats. And another guy in our neighborhood, this guy, in my opinion, I think is probably the greatest athlete to come out of Pilsen neighborhood. His name was Tony Delgado. He went to the University of Lewis University.
Wow.
I believe he's in the Hall of Fame at Lewis University. And I read an article one time that they considered him one of the greatest athletes to go to the University of Lewis University.
Sure.
And the Russ brothers went there. I think Matty Dozen went there. He was a lot
of good quality coming out of there.
He was a hell of a player. Everybody looked up to him.
Sure.
You know, he was a good basketball player. He was a good hardball player. Softball, he would play once in a while, but everybody looked up to this guy. He was a hell of a guy.
Wow. Incredible.
And basically that was about it.
But you started with this team, I think it was called A.J. Becker.
A.J. Becker was my first company that I used to work with. And I was employed there in, I believe it was April of 1969.
Okay.
It was an investment company. And my manager there was Dick Cooper.
Okay.
Who obviously, a lot of people know Dick Cooper. He's in the Hall of Fame.
He's also in the Hall, yeah.
He sold his son Kenny Cooper, rest in peace. And I worked with Tim, and I worked with Dick Cooper's daughter. And I also worked with Kenny Flogg, but Kenny Flogg was a runner on the floor. He was also on our softball team, but very seldom would come out. Matter of fact, I think he only came out one time and he was injured, and I don't think I ever seen him again.
But this culminated for basically about we're talking about this era Harrison, 17 years, correct?
Yes. No, it's basically, yeah, it's about right.
And what position did you play?
I started out in left field.
Okay.
And as I started getting older, I started pitching.
Okay.
You know, and obviously, the very last team that I went with, I played with the Creators.
Yes, I see that.
Arena's team, and Francisco has done a lot for the softball community.
Yes.
He's brought in a lot of softball players. He brought in more revenue to the softball world, and he's a hell of a guy. You know, he's my nephew by marriage. That's why my nickname around the world is Uncle Joe. Everybody
Uncle Joe. Okay.
Everybody calls me Uncle Joe because Frank called me that all the time, and And I guess it stuck, so everywhere I go, everybody calls me Uncle Joe.
In regards to the game and how it starts for you and how you move on with this, when I was playing, I was outfielder also. I was in left.
Mhm.
And then somebody, as your years got older and older and the legs got sore and sore, somebody says, "Hey, you want to come out and maybe play catcher?" I says, "I'm not going to play catcher. I'm done. If I can't be the left fielder, of course, but the skills were." Did you still enjoy the game going
Oh,
from the
yes.
position to the
Yes.
pitching position?
As I got older, I knew I couldn't move as I used to be. I mean, I wasn't the greatest softball player in the world. I would consider myself an average player. I wasn't fast.
Right,
I'm not a Larry Downs, whatever type of guy. I just enjoy the game. I enjoy the game, and in my later years, I enjoyed watching.
Yes.
I mean, I would go watch my sons play. If there was a game going on, I go.
Yeah,
I don't care if it was in Elmhurst, Melrose Park.
night game, tournament, didn't matter. It
I
didn't
would
matter,
go.
right? Yeah.
I would go there.
Are you married?
Yes, I
Okay,
am.
well, no. I just wanted to make sure because, hey, the prerequisite, of course, is that you have to have that person that understands.
I was married, I was married 49 years,
Yes.
and wife passed away 6 years ago, and she used to kid around with me all the time. I said,
Right.
"Don't tell me you're gonna go out to softball." And I said, "Yes, I am." And her greatest comment was, "Joe, you need help."
You need help. There's something wrong with you.
She said, "You need help."
Saw it in the bio.
And then I would come home. She said, "How was it? Did you have fun? Was it cold? I hope you wore a jacket."
Yeah.
She cared about
So
it.
the care
She cared.
part, but yeah,
But obviously that was her always,
but
you need
right
help.
from this comment, Joe, it leads me to the next thing. You had the passion. You had the passion from the
Oh, yes.
beginning to this whole
Yes.
thing with the Creators. Let's move on to this team for the Creators. You played for them just for a couple years,
Yes.
and of course you go on to do a lot of different things for them with the club, with the Creators.
Yeah, my two sons play for them. At one time, when I was there, like in my later year, it was myself. Two of my sons were there, and I had two of my nephews on the same team also, and Francisco ran the team.
Sure.
And they played at the Grange Park, which is on Ogden Avenue there, off of Manheim.
Okay.
And I think they won like something like 5 or 6 championships in a row. He had a pretty good team. At that particular.
You're pretty good at judging the talent.
No, yeah, I used to help them a lot. I was, especially my two boys, I would tell them, where to play, where not to play, blah, blah, blah. And once in a while they say, "Okay, fine." Otherwise they would tell me, "Shut up, Dad."
Yeah, of course. What do you know after playing and watching all these games?
Exactly.
But yeah, you probably attended. I mean, tournament wise, when I walked in here today, the few minutes I was spending the time with the gentleman here with Paul and the guys, you've been to so many tournaments right here.
It's not funny. It's just, I tell you what, my first tournament, my actual first nationals, that gentleman over there was playing, he participated.
Name them gentlemen, because we are in front of a live audience here today.
First name, waving his hand over there.
Yeah.
Mr. Lentine.
Frank Lentine, right, Frank, of course.
He was on a team called, I believe it was called the Bobcats.
The Bobcats.
And
He could play a little bit Lentine, right?
it was
Yeah.
it was Labor Day weekend, rained all weekend.
Wow.
Rained all weekend. And I was out there with a couple of guys I knew very well. One of them was Bob Campbell. The other one was Larry Downs
Oh,
Senior.
wow.
Larry Downs Senior.
Wow.
Chris wasn't even born yet. Larry Downs was about yay big. His dad was a good ball player. Larry Downs was a very good ball player, very fast, very good outfielder. But going back to that tournament,
Yeah.
a lot of people don't believe this. You have to be there to see it. But
What year was this again?
71.
71, okay. This is the one we're talking about in St. Louis.
Right, it was actually a town that was Florissant, Missouri, but they call
Sure.
it St. Louis. But it rained so hard one day, and they wanted to get the tournament in. They brought a helicopter. They brought a helicopter to dry up the field. I never seen that before in my life.
Yeah, that thing going around the speed of maybe 1,000 fans going around there. Yeah, exactly.
People thought when I
Did it work?
Yeah, it worked. It worked.
Wow.
And eventually they got the tournament done, and Bobcats went on, and Bobcats had a good team. They were loaded. They was loaded. And then eventually after that, just started meeting more and more, people, going more tournaments. Ballpark figure, I've probably been to anywhere between 40 and 45 national tournaments.
Wow, and I think, Mick and Frank were mentioning that,
I
Paul.
have a lot of them in
especially.
Iowa. I have a lot of friends in Iowa.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
Iowa, it's like my second home.
Jeez.
Marshalltown, Cedar Rapids, Des Moines. Then we had one year, South Bend, Indiana. So forth, but it's, I've been to quite a few.
And you support this SSA?
Oh, I
like
love
crazy.
it.
Yeah.
I support anybody,
Yeah.
and SSA is, yes, a lot of friends of mine, Patty Caputo especially.
Yeah, we just saw
He,
a couple weeks ago, yeah.
He got me involved in a lot of softball.
Right, right.
And if I don't mention Patty Caputo's name, he's not gonna talk to me. I'll say it again.
I would say, I just wouldn't put it out on the internet, you know? We'll splice it out, yeah.
John, I'll just interject.
Yes, please, Paul Rowan, our president.
So he gets so much respect that two guys, Mike Knox and Larry, what's Larry's last name?
Pilcher.
Filcher, they came in, they're Iowa guys who. flew
Yes,
in
yes, I remember interviewing Knox.
To be there for him. And
Wow.
I think Knox lives in New York or something.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
just is involved, but they came in just for Joe. For the day.
Wow, I mean, how, Joe, just, I'm gonna get to that question.
It really hit me, Larry and I keep in touch all the time. I know Larry for many, many years. He's out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. He is one of the original teams, he'll kill me if I don't remember the team, come on, help me out.
Right.
Oh,
Where was this at again?
Cedar Rapids.
Cedar Rapids.
I'll think of it in a second.
I
Right
think-
now, I'm kind of nervous.
No, don't be nervous. We interviewed a bunch of guys from Cedar Rapids and
That
I
was CJ. That was.
CJ.
Okay, all right,
Sorry, Larry.
okay.
Sorry, Mike.
we got it. See, three heads are better than one here.
He told me he was coming, and I said, yeah, okay, blah, 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 and all of a sudden, I get there, and they sat at my table, and my daughter says, Dad, who are those two guys? So you wouldn't believe it, I said, I've known these guys for a long time, they came out to support me. And my daughter was touched by it, she was, wow, you gotta be kidding me, yes, they came all the way from Cedar Rapids, and they sat at our table, and, we talked kind of, especially softball, and
Oh, wow.
I really appreciated that they came down there. It really hit me. It really hit me pretty hard. I had a couple of tears in my eyes.
Well, sure. I mean, to take the time to
Yep.
come from a different
Yep.
state but they saw how you took the time to go see them and
Yeah,
do all the things.
very
you did.
nice of them.
Of course, you're watching, so you take the time still now to watch about 100 to 125 games a year, right?
It's something like that, maybe more.
Yeah, yeah, who's counting, right?
This year I attended every tournament. The nationals. Sometimes I stay at hotels. I don't like to drive at night.
And you'll do this by yourself, right?
Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
fantastic.
We just had a tournament about a month ago up in Las Vegas. We went out there for one of Ronnie Roticiano tournament.
Okay.
And it was only 16, but it's fun to watch teams that come from, different parts of the United States. And I tell you, these California teams they're coming up.
They're coming on.
They're coming up, and one of them said, hopefully they're going to attend the.
We might have to get Mick out of retirement if they're coming up. Yeah. All right, so I have an issue with the bio because there's another rumor coming out about you. Your wife told me that somebody in your family told me that you might need a banquet hall for all the jerseys. I heard they're sober. You've collected how many jerseys? It's one of your
I was in Marshalltown, Iowa. I believe it was 1978. And I ran to a guy by the name of Joe Court, another guy, rest in peace. Him and I became good buddies. He gave me a jersey that day. It was one of the Iowa teams. I think it was called Mr. Bubbles. And after that, it's caught on. I would ask for t-shirts, but then I stopped. I'm not going to beg anymore. All of a sudden, people just started giving them to me. Wherever I go, they could give them to me.
all like we see up here, right? Like
I got 4 boxes at home. I can't. There's no room for me to put them.
yeah, it was great. You need a banquet hall. Yeah.
Yeah. And
You could have probably filled up the Drury Lane when you got the award there last
there's
week.
quite a bit of them. There's some old ones and. I think probably the oldest one I had, it was from a team from not Cedar Rapids, it was from Carroll, Iowa. It was called, Angel Alicia played on that team. It was called, there again, I'm losing my mind again.
Graphic Edge.
Graphic Edge. I
Okay,
knew the JR very well. I became friends with him. And Angelo just happened to, one day I'm sitting there and he said, "Here, Joe, I got something for you." And it had a number 83 on there and a Graphic Edge. And that's kind of a classic shirt. You don't see those kind
for
anymore.
sure,
You know.
for sure.
And like I said, I have quite a bit. And some are duplicated. And when they do give me shirts, they always ask you for my size, so I like to wear them. I said,
Yeah,
"Give me
of
a
course,
size.
yeah.
What am I to do with it? You know what I mean?" Yes, I do have quite a bit, and when I'm gone, I already told my children, I said, "Give them to the Hall of Fame.
Hall
So
of
if they have
Fame,
room for them,
as you
do
can
whatever
see
you
and
want."
hear the memories and everything
Yes,
of,
yeah,
this place is great, how
Mhm.
they set it up, the board and Paul and everybody just fantastic. What's you think some of the, like, you maybe bring a couple to mind there since we have some time still. What's the thing that you remember the most from the early days to now? And what's something that still you vividly remember a couple of games in a game? Is it players? Is it people you dealt with? What's the thing before I ask you?
Well, I mean, I can argue with somebody, well, they'll argue with me about it.
Right,
Back in the old days, I think the players were a lot stronger.
okay,
I'm talking about a lot stronger hitting wise, you know. But now this generation is a lot faster.
okay. You see the game faster now
Yes,
than then?
it's a lot faster, it's a lot faster. And there's really not that many home run hitters out there. A lot of singles, doubles, triples hitters. But in the old days, you had the Ron Elysiak guys, Benny Houghton, those guys,
Yeah,
Kevin Lund, those guys used to hit the ball a mile long.
right.
But there again, I love to see where a guy scores from second base on a fly ball. In the
Okay.
old days, you didn't see that.
Nope.
You didn't see that in the old days, because there again, guys were stronger, they were maybe bigger. Now, the guy at second base, even a short ball to the left field, right field, whatever, and they score.
Sure.
They score, and it's unbelievable.
And it's a well put because before everybody had those couple power hitters on that team and now we're playing a different
And
style of game.
defense, I think the pitching wise in the old days, the defense, the pitchers were better at defense,
Yes,
you know. You
definitely.
can start with Mike Callow and work on a Patty Caputo and then on and on and on and on. Most of these guys were good defensive pitchers,
And
and some were good hitters
Right.
also.
right. And the amazing part, Joe, was and in talking to these gentlemen from week to week, so what I've learned and of course played back in my time. Is that these pitchers didn't need a YouTube or Google. A Tallow could remember, hey, Pulido pulls the right, or this guy goes to life, this guy dumps, this guy does this. They had that photographic memory and how they were gonna pitch him.
Exactly, especially Mike Callow.
Yeah.
He had a dictionary up in his head, he knew exactly who was coming up the base, and he was like an extra short center.
Right, yeah,
He was like an
exactly.
extra short center. Every time he threw that ball, he'd back up.
He'd back up.
Sometimes he didn't even need a short.
Right.
And he would read the minds of these batters, and he would tell this guy to move here, this guy would move there, but they would listen.
Sure.
They would listen to him. That's why, in my opinion, I think he's probably the best pitcher I've ever seen.
And the way they would move off the mound, like you're saying, if they were going to the
Yeah.
left, to the right, yeah, that. You will not find that, I don't think nowadays, so.
No, I don't think you'd ever see another guy like Mike Callow.
So that leads me to a question that I wasn't set up for, but now you set me up for a question. If the old rank was playing the new rank all-stars of today, how would they?
Oh, I would take the new rank.
You would take the new rank?
The new rank, there
Okay.
again, like I said, right now, they're a lot faster.
Okay,
They're a lot faster.
so you're thinking the speed is gonna outweigh the ball going all the way to
No.
the Kennedy Express?
Even if you had your superstars out there, in left field, right field, the whole outfield, this young generation or new generation we have nowadays, they're very smart.
Uh-huh.
They know where to hit, they know where to hit, and they put it there.
Well, I'm
Some of
gonna,
these guys can't even, they'll throw the ball better than they can hit.
right. Yeah, I'll respect that from you because
That's
of the
my
fact,
opinion.
I like your opinion, you know why? Cause I can't disrespect it, cause the last time I went out to 30 games was probably 1993.
Mm-hmm.
You're going out to 100 games, you're seeing the quality
Yeah,
of today
yeah.
in back from when it was our day. Right, exactly. Well, I gotta ask you something as we get to the conclusion of this. Is truly another fascinating guest for me today because you learned something and it, not only about the game, but your passion for the game and how you still see it. And I really like your answer today about the youth. And I hope this youth continues to take this game forward, which these men are always trying to do. I gotta ask you, I don't know how it came up again for you. How was it for you? And I don't know how it's done here. When you get a call from the board or a Paul Rowan that you're going into the Hall of Fame, what was it for you?
I don't know if it was coincidence or from the man upstairs. I happened to be at Harrison Park that day.
Oh, wow.
At a tournament.
That's goosebumps because we're talking
Right.
Harrison Park.
Now, I was driving, coming home on the Eisenhower. I
Okay.
live in the western suburbs.
Yes.
The phone rang. I had my phone on the side and it shows the number, but it didn't show Paul's number.
Got it.
Name, I'm sorry.
The call's coming from the president,
So-
Paul Rowan, correct?
I don't like to answer the phone when I'm driving.
Exactly.
Now I'm stuck in traffic and I'm also eating a taco at the same time.
I'll take the taco over Rowan.
I stopped the guy from tacos, so I'm driving, eating my taco on the phone, and I don't know what to do, So I get home and I get the voicemail and I said, what the hell does he want? So I call back and he told me about it. And it brought a tear to my eye, and the very first thing that came up to me was my wife. I said, God, I wish my wife was here.
Yeah.
Because she was probably, as much as she talked about me, that I was nuts, blah, blah, blah. I know deep down inside, she knew I loved the game, but she was with me, So that's the first thing that came to my mind. But ever since that phone call, I'm on cloud nine.
Right.
And I think after this interview, I'm finally gonna come down. I mean, the phone call, the July event here,
Oh, that's
the dinner, the speech, the this and that, and all these T-shirts that I bought, for my grandchildren,
Sure.
and just on and on and on, and it's like I've been way up here ever since that phone call.
And deservedly so. You should
And
be up
now
there.
I think after this conversation here, I think Paul's done with me. He has to go ahead. I think we're done. I think he's done. That's it. Back to normal, and I can't wait for 2025 season to start.
Yeah, well, listen, I want to truly thank you. I know these guys here too, want to thank you again. This has been. Our live audience here today. Joe, I want to say one thing. I know we talked about the new and the old, but there's a book in this place. It's called The Greatest Game on Dirt.
Mhm.
You agree with that one?
I've seen that one.
Yeah, it's a good one. And you made me remember that it is the greatest game on dirt.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We visited here today with Joe Pulido, Hall of Famer, here on October 26th. What a night, of course, that was for you to
Yes,
face
it was.
that
Yes,
and your
it was.
speech and everything else that all the guys here have told me that. Again, our congratulations to you. I want to thank the board, Paul Rowan, for having and setting aside the time at 2:00 every Saturday for our inductees for the Chicago 16-inch Hall of Fame. And as always, we'll see you next Saturday.